Well, there are 88 cities in LA County, the most populous county in the country. And this week's Look at This, our Desmond Shaw will highlight a few of them.
And tonight he's over a small town that caters specifically to heavy industry.
Well, take a look at this little city along the LA River. This is Vernon, a 5-square-mile town south of downtown LA that just may have the most interesting and sordid history of any city in LA County. Long before it was an industrial powerhouse with curious government dynamics, this tiny town was a bucolic village full of gardens, farms, and Victorian homes, believe it or not. According to Curb de LA, the area was settled in the 1870s by a Civil War veteran named Captain George R. Vernon, in an unincorporated community that was much larger than it is today, expanding westward into present-day South LA. Every crop you can imagine was grown in fertile soil, and the village was known as the loveliest on the plain and a great place to escape the busy metropolis to the north. Everything changed at the beginning of the 20th century, though. As LA grew rapidly, it began to annex many communities, including the western half of Vernon. A businessman named John Leonis moved in and started buying up what remained of the township, and he and his business partners envisioned a city that they called exclusively industrial. And so the city of Vernon was incorporated in 1905, and according to LAist, Vernon happily welcomed businesses that were unwelcome elsewhere. They offered discounted government fees and taxes, cheaper utilities, and faster services than other governments could provide. In about a decade, Vernon was flipped completely on its head from a sleepy agrarian township to an industry-focused town that would come to be run like a family kingdom. Curb de LA says Leonis and his business partners became the trustees of their town after incorporation, but didn't leave office or hold elections when their 2-year term was up. When elections were eventually held, it was very suspicious when the trustees won in a landslide, considering the few city residents were quite discontented. While tens of thousands of people work in Vernon, only a few hundred live there. Most have been government employees or political allies, and nearly all live in city-owned and subsidized housing, a situation which spurred well-documented corruption. Leonis and his family would notoriously control Vernon for decades, with massive salaries paid to city administrators way outside the norm. His grandson, Leonis Malberg, was mayor for 50 years before being convicted of voter fraud and conspiracy in 2009. It got so bad that the state threatened to disincorporate Vernon in 2011 if things didn't change. But the city survived, and they have undertaken a lot of reforms, including capping city salaries and building new housing to increase the population. There's really a lot more to it. It is a really, really fascinating story that is definitely worth reading more on. The little town of Vernon that prides itself on being exclusively industrial. Taking a look at this from SkyCal, I'm Desmond Shaw.
And if you'd like Desmond to take a look at something interesting in your neighborhood, just write us at lookatthis@cbs.com.